Hey, it's Lindsay, y'all. So today's a good day for America. As if you're watching this around the time that I'm making the video, you know why. But for those who may be watching this later, it's 4 days after the 2020 election, since the actual election day. And as of this morning, we have a called election. They've called it for Joe Biden. Joe Biden is our president-elect. And Kamala Harris, first woman vice president, first person of color as a vice president. So it's a pretty big day. And I'm excited about it, and I'm thrilled, and I'm celebrating. But I got beef too. I wish I didn't. I wish I could say that this was an absolutely positive day. But I feel like I need to say something because I see a lot of people out there talking about, okay, let's all work together as a country, and let's all take the high road and hold hands and do what's best for America. And I'm not there yet. Well, first off, we don't see those calls really coming through from the other side. We do hear a lot of Trumpers that are saying, well, we should give some space and be respectful of his feelings. Yeah. Cool. No one has shown any courtesy from that side to anyone else in America who didn't agree with them. So fuck that. But even for the people who I know and I love and I respect and who I know voted the right way, they're making this call for, let's heal as a nation and try to come together and forget, these awful things. No. I love you. You are speaking from a place of significant privilege. And I know this because I literally enjoyed all of that privilege just a little over a year ago myself. But I've definitely learned a lot in the last year. And I definitely know and recognize that just how much this has not been okay. I knew it was not okay. But to really kind of dive into it and feel it in your heart and to know how much it can affect you personally, I hope no one ever has to experience that feeling of looking so closely at an election because the results of it could have a profound impact on your human rights. I don't wish that on anyone. But I've experienced it, and people I know have experienced it. Trans people, queer people in general, people of color, people with disabilities, women in general, which is why I don't necessarily understand when I see women making this call for coming together. No. 70+ million Americans voted to keep a fascist bigot in office, who is also a person who has completely mishandled this pandemic. And, I think we're approaching 250,000 Americans dead at this point. A record compared to anywhere else in the world, because we don't have leadership telling us to get off our asses and come together and do what's right for the people around us. You have someone inciting violence. You have someone inciting hatred. You have someone who is literally doing everything he can to show that he doesn't give a shit about women or minorities, trans folks, queer folks, disabled folks, all of these things. His policies continue to shit all over all of these marginalized groups, multiple of which I am a part of now. Or I guess I always was. I just didn't realize it. So this isn't a political issue. It's a moral one. This isn't agree to disagree. We can agree to disagree that pineapple on a pizza is an abomination, because it is. I still love you if you like pineapple on a pizza. I still judge you a little bit, but I still love you. And here's the thing. I know there are people that I love who voted for Trump. And I think they genuinely feel like they love me. I do. And maybe they think I'm being overdramatic, but I'm not. Voting for Donald Trump is an act of aggression against people like me. Even if you don't agree with his bigoted policies, it meant that they weren't enough of a deal breaker for you to put aside whatever partisan bullshit that you already believed in and vote against this motherfucker. That's fucked up. The man literally tried to put through a policy earlier this year that said that I could be discriminated against in a healthcare setting, that I could walk into an emergency room and be denied care because of just who I am. The only reason that didn't go into effect in August is because a federal judge shot it down. It was literally set to go into effect. When it was announced, you had insurance companies who were jumping the gun to stop covering trans people's health care in certain areas. I know, because I know people who were affected by that. And the insurance companies had to backpedal because number one, it wasn't in effect yet. But what the hell? Like, I mean, the insurance industry in our company is a whole other issue, obviously. But, God, what the fuck is wrong with people? +70 million people that said that it was okay that I don't deserve equal rights. And I purged. So last year, after I came out to myself as trans, I had like 300 people on my Facebook, and I cut about 100 people off of there. Some of them were family that I didn't talk to. A lot of them were people that I went to school with that I never talked to. Mostly they were people that I didn't keep up with, or they were people that I thought wouldn't respond well to my transition. And I didn't need that kind of negativity in my life because, honestly, none of them were actually people that I actively engaged in that much. So I didn't view it as a big loss. And I felt like if they wanted to re-engage, they could, but that wasn't stress that I needed in my life. But I have friends who are Republicans, a handful, that are still on my Facebook, who've seen my posts. I have a coworker. I have a couple of former coworkers and their spouses. Actually, I have like 3 former coworkers who are Republicans, and I'm friends with some of their spouses on Facebook as well. I'm sure I have some cousins, possibly, just based on some things that I've seen in other issues. I don't really know exactly, but there's a few people. And I poke into their Facebook pages every now and again, and I see some of the things on their page, people, one of them, they were talking about how they were going to vote that day on Tuesday, and, people were commenting and they were like, make sure you wear red. And this is a nice guy, but his views on the world do not align with mine in a lot of ways. And I struggle with that. These are people that I've spent a lot of time around, these coworkers, and former coworkers, but I don't know how to face them, honestly. Because I feel pretty confident they voted for Trump. And I don't know how to face them. I've thought about removing them off of Facebook, but with some of them, there's history there that I do not want to lose. But why? I mean, if they disrespect me and people like me that much, why do I want to stay connected to these people? I don't know. Nostalgia, I guess. I don't know. Former sense of respect, which is greatly diminished at this point. I don't know. We have a lot of work to do as a country. This election shouldn't have been this close. Not by a long shot. After everything that's happened in the last 4 years, it should have been an easy decision. And it wasn't. It took 4 days just to be able to call it unofficially. And that says a lot about a lot of people and their morals. Like I said, this isn't a political issue. This is about doing what is right for the people around you, regardless of their color or their sexuality or their gender or their ability level or anything else. We're all people. We are all people living in this country. And we all deserve to have the same rights and privileges therein. And we don't. And there are lots of people who think it needs to stay that way. That's a hard pill to swallow. Land of the free, my ass. So yeah, I'm celebrating. I am. I genuinely am. I'm happy. I'm thinking I'm either going to have a really good pizza tonight or I'm going to have steak. And I'm going to maybe have a drink and toast to Joe and Kamala. But for now and for a good while yet, I'm going to need to see some change. I'm going to need to see some hearts poured out and people coming out and saying, you know what? I fucked up and I apologize. I made choices that were selfish and short-sighted and rooted in ignorance, and I'm sorry. But until that happens, to quote the great philosophers, the Dixie Chicks, I'm not ready to make nice. Not by a long shot. But I have hope. This is a step in the right direction, rooting out fascism in America. It is genuinely fascism. Look up the definition. Do I think Joe and Kamala are going to be like the best team in the White House ever? No. But at worst, it's a pause button. And it's an opportunity to get our shit together. I don't have to worry about somebody trying to take away my rights in the next 4 years. I have to worry about somebody trying to take away my health care. Hell, they may actually expand it. Maybe we'll get more expansions on, trans rights in general. A girl can hope. But for now, just not losing what I already have is really nice. And not having to worry about it, because I've lost a lot of sleep. So tonight I'm going to eat my tasty meal. I'm going to go to bed and hopefully sleep soundly for the first night in several weeks. So, and that's all I got. Just think about what I've said. If it rings true, then know you're not alone. And if it doesn't, maybe think about why that is. Until next time, kids. Love and hugs.